Going, my name is Evan, and in this video, it is a book review of FU Money by Dan Lok. And yes, I do have a copy of FU Money right in front of me by Dan the Man Lok. Make as much money as you damn well want, and live your life as you damn well please. Man, he is a man of character, that's for sure. That's what Dan Lok is. And if this is the first time that you're stumbling on my videos, I would greatly appreciate it if you do hit the subscribe button, as well as hit like if you also do like it too. I don't know if I hit both of those at once, but I post different entrepreneurship and digital marketing videos every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, and the odd book review every once in a while. So yeah, no, let's dive deep into this book and see if FU Money is worth it. So let's just start with Dan the Man Lok. So Dan Lok is from Vancouver. I think he's originally from Hong Kong, actually, but then he moved to Vancouver, British Columbia, Canada. I am also living in Vancouver too. So Dan is actually pretty relevant guy here. He's begun to get more and more popular as his YouTube channel has grown drastically in the last year and a half. His popularity here in Vancouver is actually grown quite a bit, as well as kind of almost like a folklore or something like that. So that's what Dan Lok kind of is and what he represents there. This book, FU Money, was actually written in 2008. So Dan's done quite a bit since this book, so it is a bit dated. I think he has a new book coming out called Unlock It. Correct me if I'm wrong down in the comments, but it's called Unlock It, which I'd also be interested in reading as well, because he's kind of an interesting dude, and I'll get to that in a little bit here. But yeah, man, that's one of the reasons to read the book, is to figure out who Dan the Man Lok is. Relevant information. So a lot of the information that is inside of this book is very relevant for people that are just kind of starting out. It crosses a whole bunch of niches. It's very general, but it allows you to kind of come to your own conclusions too. And I'll get to how Dan is able to do that and be a teacher inside of this book. So Dan's already given himself as an authority figure because he has worksheets and stuff, which I'll talk about in a bit. But the information that's inside of it is very relevant to today. It's also very relevant 10 years ago. It's also relevant 20, 30, 40 years ago if you were to give this out to someone there. It's developing a plan and strategy for financial wealth, and this is what everyone should do. And not everyone really does this and sits down and actually plans out what they want to do and how much money they want. A lot of people are screwed over, and they're not allowed to have their FU money at the end of the day. So I'll talk about what FU money is in a little bit, but the information that's inside of it is pretty relevant. So yeah, it's good for different digital marketers. It's good for any sort of niche that's out there if you want to develop a business or an idea or something like that. It's all pretty good in there. Characters. So Dan uses a teacher and an authoritarian character throughout it, but he also teaches you how to create your own character, where you can see money in a very different light and create your own character for money and what it actually represents. And what money isn't actually money or anything like that. Money is just buying status, essentially. So it's just thinking of money as its own character, and that it has its own benefits, its own flaws, and whatnot. So yeah, it's pretty interesting inside of the book to see how Dan kind of relates money to the overall character of the money itself, and then of yourself near the once you're able to accumulate your FU money. Action tools. So like I just mentioned a couple minutes ago, different action tools that are inside of FU Money. So almost every chapter you can have, there's little action tools on the side that you can write out and use a pen. And that's one of the cool things that I really like in the book, that you're actually able to write that out inside. Let me see if I can show a bit of one near the end. Yeah, so something kind of like this. So there's some action steps that you can go in there and be able to write out some. Let's see if there's another one in here. Yeah, so something kind of like this. So it just tells you different action steps that you should be doing and how you can be focusing on your FU money. I actually got a signed copy of this from Dan Lok as well. I won an Instagram copy contest, because that's kind of what I do for a living. So I won an Instagram caption contest, and yeah, I got to pick it up with from one of his Facebook ad specialists out in one of the greater Vancouver cities in Delta. So yeah, those all. It's a great book to have, and there's great tools and resources that are inside of it. And it's very relevant information for the economy today and earning your FU money. So today, as robotics and technology begin to kind of see a huge shift in the job market where labor is going to be not human labor is going to be essentially replaceable. That doesn't need any sort of calls to action or any sort of like marketing or any sort of tech creation if you're dependent on labor for a lot of your jobs. If you don't run your own business and such, you're going to be kind of one of the jobs is driving. Driving is also going to be kind of replacing Uber. Will probably be one of the first ones to have self-driving cars as their own drivers. So it'll be very interesting to kind of see where they go about that. But it's learning the skills inside of here and having the mindset so that you can earn your FU money so much easier. There's no time better than now to be earning your FU money because the job market is incredibly unpredictable and it takes a little while to kind of develop your proof of concept and to develop your personas and to get through all of this different levels and stages of entrepreneurship. Some people it takes like 15, 20 years to get through it. Some people it takes like a couple of years, some even shorter than that to kind of figure out what their niche is and what their calling is and stuff. But earning your FU money right now is probably more important than ever. Because of so much uncertainty with having a job. Like you don't know if you're going to get replaced by someone. So earning your FU money and going into and seeing where the market's going and seeing which sectors still need intuitive thinking and being able to kind of have some critical thinking that's based around human intelligence, not artificial intelligence and stuff. So yeah, no, I definitely do recommend FU Money by Dan Lok. If you are on the fence about it, definitely go ahead and get this book. I actually probably will want to get the audiobook so I can kind of hear Dan talk throughout the book. So if you really like, if you like this video, I would greatly love it and appreciate it if you subscribe to the channel. Also leave me a thumbs up. And once again, my name is Evan, and thank you guys so much for checking out this book review of FU Money by Dan the Man Lok.